What is up, guys, and welcome to my wish list for Titanfall 2. First, I'm going to tell you what was good about the first Titanfall and what they need to improve for the second. Firstly, Titanfall's mobility was a focal point with a light, free-flowing parkour system that lent itself to a very pacey shooter, which was one of the highlights of the original game. Secondly, the core Titan gameplay was always enjoyable, even if it wasn't very varied. Hearing your commander saying, "Stand by for Titanfall," was always a great moment, as you knew you could go on a very long kill streak and destroy some of the small grunts. However, as good as these moments were, there just weren't enough of them to keep you playing the game for a very long amount of time. The mobility, as great as it was, there weren't enough good game modes, only attrition, which, as good as it was, you could only play for a certain amount of time before you got bored and wanted something new, but there wasn't anything new. This meant, as hyped up as the game was, big fans of it only stayed with it for a month or two before moving on to the new Call of Duties or Battlefields. Following on with the depth of the game, there weren't enough classes to keep you enjoyed with it, no varied gameplay particularly. You could only have, there was only a few snipers, a few assault rifles, a few SMGs, and there really wasn't enough depth to the game to keep you playing, and that's why it lost so many of its players very quickly. Titanfall 2 aims to rectify that mistake with a full single-player campaign following Jack Cooper and his Titan, BT, followed by some numbers. Hopefully this should be a great addition to the game, as it'll keep people playing right from the start, and the developers working on it have worked on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series, so there should be some very good moments and make this game as memorable as possible. My main hope for this campaign is that it can distinguish itself from the COD and Battlefield series. If they use the mobility as well as possible, the level design should be very interesting, allowing you to use your double jumps, your wall runs and grappling hooks as well as possible, as it will help you get through the levels, and it will feel like a completely new experience, one that you haven't properly had before, since Titanfall 1 didn't have a campaign. And now moving on to the multiplayer aspect of Titanfall 2, all of these thoughts that I have are from playing the open beta tech test that was about a month or two ago, and all I got to say is that the characters did feel a bit heavier, and so your mobility might be slightly decreased, but the additions of things like the grappling hook and the new abilities seem to help you with a much more varied gameplay, and it's stuff like this that will keep Titanfall 2, will keep people playing it for much longer periods of time. However, one big area where the game needs to improve, and where the first one really excelled, is with the map design. With the tech test, you could only play two maps. They were called Boomtown and Homestead. Boomtown was quite good, it had quite a few wall running spots, but it just wasn't as vertical as the previous game's maps. And Homestead was very Call of Duty-esque. It was all very much on the ground, apart from one tower in the middle of the map. So they really need to improve, give it a big range of maps, if they want to keep those who enjoyed the first game sticking with this new one, because it felt very different from the original, this tech test. There was a lot of fan backlash at Respawn for them changing so many core ideas from the first game. For example, in Bounty Hunt, that mode, you wouldn't get a Titan, you'd only get a Titan from kills. You wouldn't get it wouldn't be on a normal timer like the first game. And it just meant that you had to be very good at the game to get any Titan gameplay in. And even if you were good at it, you could die extremely quickly at the hands of other Titans. And that really decreases the enjoyability of the game, and it means that people won't want to stick with it as long as they do with other games. But anyway, hopefully Respawn did listen to all their fans and that they've made very many changes from the multiplayer tech test, so they make Titanfall 2 a much more memorable and overall better game than the first one. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like to show your support, comment with any more sort of games that are coming out that you want to see a wish list on, and subscribe to know when these videos come out. But for now, I'll leave you with a little bit left of Titanfall 2 gameplay.